Welcome to the deep dive. So, today we're taking those sources you sent over and really digging into something that feels like, well, often the missing piece in the whole health and energy puzzle: sleep.
That's it, exactly.
Specifically, we're looking at what these documents tell us about the sleep secrets for really optimizing your rest to help with weight loss and, boost your energy levels.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all know nutrition and exercise are like the heavy hitters, right? But the information you've gathered, it really makes a powerful case that sleep is, well, it's the third pillar, just as crucial.
Right. And our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, isn't just to say sleep more. We want to get into the biology, the why it's so vital for things like hormones and energy. And then pull out the really practical stuff from your sources, strategies you can actually use.
Think of it like getting the inside track on the science, Understanding how getting better sleep can actually change how your body works, right down to cravings and metabolism.
Okay, so let's start there. The sources draw a pretty clear line, don't they? They mention that over the last few decades, sleep time seems to be dropping.
Yeah, quality and duration, both.
And at the same time, average BMI and obesity rates, they've been climbing.
It's a striking parallel, and the research takes it very seriously. Your sources explain there are definite biological things happening, switches getting flipped, basically.
Yeah.
It often starts with the hormones that control appetite.
Okay.
You've got ghrelin, that's the one saying, hey, I'm hungry, and leptin, which says, okay, stop, I'm full.
So if you're sleep deprived, what happens to those signals? Do they get messed up?
They really do. Your body's signaling gets, well, confused. Lack of sleep tends to lower your leptin levels.
Meaning you don't feel as full after eating.
Exactly. And at the same time, it boosts ghrelin, so you feel way hungrier than usual.
Ah, okay. So that's why when you're exhausted, you're not craving broccoli, right?
Exactly. Your brain isn't asking for a salad.
Yeah. You want the quick energy stuff, the carbs, the calories, which, the sources noted, sleep-deprived people often reach for.
Precisely. Your body's being told you're not full and you're extra hungry. It's a double whammy pushing you towards often less healthy choices.
Makes sense.
And then there's another layer, lack of sleep. It's a huge stressor on your body, which causes levels of the stress hormone, cortisol, to go up.
Right, cortisol. And that one's kind of known for encouraging fat storage, isn't it?
It absolutely is, especially that really stubborn fat around the middle, belly fat, and chronically high cortisol. It's also not great for keeping muscle mass, which is key for metabolism.
Okay, so appetite hormones are off, stress hormones are up. What about insulin? That's the one for handling sugar, right?
Yes. Insulin's job is basically to help get sugar out of your blood and into your cells, either for energy now or for storage.
And sleep affects that too.
Significantly. This is pretty impactful. The research shows that even one night of bad sleep can make your body less sensitive to insulin. Your cells just don't respond as well.
So the sugar hangs around in the blood longer.
That's it, which leads to higher blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
And over time, this reduced sensitivity or insulin resistance, it's a major driver of increased fat storage.
Wow.
And here's a kicker. Your sources pointed out insulin resistance can actually make it harder for leptin, the fullness hormone, to get its message to the brain, too. So it becomes this kind of vicious cycle.
Less sensitive to fullness, less sensitive to sugar uptake.
Yeah, I can see how that spirals. And this ties right into what the sources were saying about blood sugar stability and avoiding that up and down yo-yo effect with weight.
Absolutely. When your blood sugar is nice and stable, not doing these wild swings, your body's much better set up to burn fat, hold on to muscle, keep cravings manageable, and maintain good energy.
But unstable blood sugar partly thanks to poor sleep.
Yeah, that leads to energy crashes, intense cravings, and your body might even start burning muscle for quick energy during the lows while holding on to fat. It just makes steady, sustainable weight management feel almost impossible. Okay, hormones are clearly a huge part of this. What about things like muscle repair or fat burning while we rest? Growth hormone comes into play there, right?
It does. Growth hormone is mostly released during those deep sleep stages. And it's absolutely vital for repairing muscle, helping it grow, and it also plays a part in how your body uses fat.
So less deep sleep means less growth hormone.
Correctly. You're essentially shortchanging your body's repair and recovery time and limiting its ability to build or even maintain that metabolically active muscle tissue.
The sources also briefly touched on a few others: thyroid, estrogen, testosterone.
Yeah, those definitely have roles in metabolism and sort of where fat gets stored. The sources didn't go into the same level of detail about the direct impact of sleep loss on them, like with Ghrelin or insulin.
Okay.
But the main takeaway is that imbalances in any hormone system can throw weight and energy off kilter. And interestingly, being overweight itself can actually contribute to some of these imbalances, like making you more resistant to leptin and insulin. So it gets complex.
It really sounds like a web of connections. So the biology's clear. Let's zoom out a bit. How does sleep, or lack of it, affect our overall metabolism and activity levels? Is it true that sleeping more boosts your metabolism?
That's a common thought, but actually, your metabolism slows down a bit while you sleep, maybe by about 15%. It hits its lowest point in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So the issue isn't really about burning calories while you sleep. It's that not getting enough sleep messes up your metabolism when you're awake. Metabolic dysregulation.
Dysregulation again. So what does that look like?
It means things like your body struggling more to handle glucose, becoming less sugar tolerant.
Yeah.
It increases that insulin resistance we mentioned. There's also increased oxidative stress.
Right?
Plus just being awake longer, well, gives you more time to eat, doesn't it? Often when you're tired and maybe not making the best choices.
Yeah. More opportunity.
And disrupted sleep patterns really throw off your natural circadian rhythms, your body clock. And separate research shows that alone can contribute to weight gain.
And then there's the energy factor. If you're tired, hitting the gym or going for a run feels harder.
Oh, absolutely. Your energy levels are low. Your willpower kind of takes a hit. Exercise just feels like way more effort. And honestly, if you're really sleep deprived, it might even be less safe because you're not as alert.
But the sources also mentioned the flip side, that exercise can actually help you sleep better.
Yes, that's a great positive feedback loop. Being active, especially if you can get some natural daylight exposure while you do it, helps anchor that body clock.
So those recommendations like 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity a week.
Or 75 to 150 minutes of the intense stuff, yeah. That doesn't just help your fitness. It can genuinely reduce how sleepy you feel during the day and improve your sleep quality at night.
And it wasn't just about formal workouts either, right? They mentioned just moving more.
Definitely. Aiming for something like 6,000, maybe 10,000 steps a day. Or even just standing up and moving for, say, 5 minutes after every half hour you've been sitting. It all adds up.
Every little bit helps.
It really does. Helps your energy during the day and helps set you up for better sleep later.
Okay, let's touch on the direct link the sources mentioned between not enough sleep and actual obesity.
Yeah, that link is particularly strong in kids and teenagers. Lots of studies show that pretty clearly.
And in adults.
In adults, there are two studies show people getting less than 6 hours are more likely to be obese, but it gets a bit more complicated.
How so?
Because obesity itself can cause sleep problems, things like sleep apnea or even depression, which then makes sleep worse. So it can be hard to untangle which came first, the chicken or the egg.
Right. It could go both ways.
Exactly. But despite that complexity, the experts really emphasize tackling sleep quality as a key part of managing weight in adults. The sources suggest if you're trying to lose weight but you're chronically tired,
You'll struggle more.
yeah, you're likely to lose less weight overall. And being sleep deprived just makes it so much harder to resist cravings and stick to a healthy eating plan. Your willpower is just lower.
Okay, so the case is clear. Sleep is fundamental. It affects hormones, metabolism, energy, weight. The good news is the sources didn't just leave us there. They gave a lot of practical tips.
They absolutely did. Really actionable things you can start doing. They broke it down nicely, kind of into pillars. The first one is all about your daily routines, often called sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene. Okay, what's top of the list there?
Consistency. This one's huge. Trying to go to bed and wake up around the same time. Every day.
Every day, even weekends. That's the tough one.
Even weekends, ideally. It might sound boring, but it's honestly the most powerful way to regulate your body's internal clock, that circadian rhythm.
Makes sense. And getting sunshine early on?
Yes. Getting some natural sunlight, especially in the morning, is like flipping the on switch for your brain. It signals daytime has started and helps set you up for sleepiness later when it's dark.
Okay, what about things we put in our bodies? Caffeine, alcohol.
Ugh, caffeine. Gotta be mindful of that one. Yeah. Especially later in the day. It has a really long half-life, meaning it sticks around in your system for hours, keeping you alert.
So cut it off. When?
The sources suggest avoiding it for at least 6, maybe even 8 hours before you plan to go to sleep. And alcohol. Well, it might make you feel sleepy at first.
Yeah, the nightcap effect.
Right. But it actually messes up your sleep quality quite badly later in the night. It fragments your sleep and stops you from getting enough of that deep, restorative sleep.
Okay, good to know. We talked about exercise being good, but timing matters.
It does seem to. Regular activity is great, but doing really intense exercise too close to bed, say within 2 or 3 hours might hype you up too much, maybe harder to wind down.
And food. Timing and type.
Also important, definitely avoid big, heavy, fatty, or super spicy meals right before bed. Give your digestion a chance. Aim to finish eating maybe 2, ideally 3 hours before sleep.
But don't go to bed starving either.
Right, that can also wake you up. It's a balance. And they had some interesting points about meal structure too, like having protein with breakfast within an hour of waking.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Seems to help stabilize blood sugar early on.
Yeah.
And maybe splitting meals, eating smaller amounts every 3 to 4 hours. Again, aiming for that blood sugar stability throughout the day, which helps energy and prevents you getting ravenous right before bed.
Okay, so those are the daily habits, the hygiene part. What about the bedroom itself? Environment.
Pillar 2, your sleep sanctuary. And rule number 1 here, darkness.
Really dark.
As dark as you can get it. Seriously, even tiny bits of light from electronics or outside can interfere with melatonin production. Melatonin is that key sleep hormone. So think blackout curtains, maybe an eye mask, cover up those little glowing lights.
Got it. And temperature. I hear cool is better.
That's generally true. Most people sleep best when the room is cool. Usually somewhere between 60 and 67 Fahrenheit, that's about 15 to 19 Celsius. Your body temperature naturally drops a bit to initiate sleep.
Interesting. And keeping it quiet and comfortable.
Essential. Noise is obviously disruptive. So earplugs if you need them, maybe a white noise machine or even just a fan can help mask other sounds. And yeah, make sure your mattress and pillows are actually comfortable and supportive for you.
A good investment, probably.
Definitely. And maybe less obvious, keeping the room clean and tidy. Less clutter can actually help create a calmer mental space, which is good for sleep.
Okay, habits, environment. What about the lead up to actually getting into bed? The wind down.
Pillar 3, the wind down ritual. And a huge piece of this, according to the sources, the digital detox.
Ugh, put the phone away.
Exactly. Phones, tablets, computers, even the TV. Try to avoid those screens for at least 60 minutes, maybe even 90 minutes before bed. That blue light they emit really does suppress melatonin.
So instead of scrolling,
Do something relaxing. Create a routine that signals to your body it's time to slow down. Maybe read an actual physical book. Take a warm bath. The cooling down afterwards helps too. Listen to some calm music, do some light stretching, maybe some meditation or deep breathing.
and what if your mind is just racing? Thinking about the next day.
Journaling. It can be super helpful.
Mm.
Just spend a few minutes writing down whatever's buzzing around in your head, worries, ideas, your to-do list. Get it out onto paper so you're not ruminating on it in bed.
That's a good tip. What about snacks? We said no heavy meals, but is anything okay?
Yeah, a small light snack might actually help some people if it contains certain nutrients.
Yeah.
The sources mention things like tryptophan or magnesium,
Examples.
like maybe half a banana, a small handful of almonds, maybe some warm milk, or even tart cherry juice. These have compounds that can kind of nudge your body towards sleep.
Okay.
And of course, this fits into the bigger picture of good nutrition we touched on earlier, things like omega-3s from fish, avocados, nuts, beans. Eating well overall definitely supports everything, including sleep.
And the last piece, tying it all together, seemed to be managing stress.
Absolutely crucial. Stress and sleep have such a strong two-way relationship. The sources highlighted stress control as vital.
And the suggestions were pretty straightforward.
Yeah, things we can all do. Getting outside for walks, trying to set realistic expectations for ourselves, connecting with people who lift us up, simple, deep breathing exercises. These things really can make a difference to your stress levels, which then helps sleep. And having a positive mindset around it all helps create that positive cycle.
So when we pull all these threads together from the sources, what's the big takeaway message?
I think the overwhelming message is that sleep just isn't optional. It's not a luxury you can cut corners on when you're busy. It's a fundamental, non-negotiable biological need, right up there with eating well and moving your body.
So by actually prioritizing sleep, giving it the attention it deserves, you're not just resting, you're actively improving your health in all these other ways.
Exactly. You're working a hormone balance, you're helping regulate your metabolism, you're boosting your energy for the day, you're improving your willpower, especially around food choices. You're literally building a stronger, healthier, more resilient version of yourself.
It really reframes sleep as foundational.
It's the base layer for a truly holistic, sustainable approach to health and managing your weight and energy long term. It all works together.
This deep dive really drove home just how powerful optimizing sleep can be. It's not just about feeling less tired, it's about fundamentally supporting your body's systems.
Yeah. And it's not just about the number of hours, though, that matters. It's the quality, the consistency, really respecting that period of rest and what it does for you. Think of it as a daily investment in your health.
It pays dividends in energy, mood, resilience.
For sure.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about this week. If you feel like you're pushing hard with diet and exercise, but still struggling with energy or cravings or weight,
Hmm.
could the missing piece actually be rest? What might happen if you consciously decided to prioritize your sleep first? How could that shift your energy, maybe change those cravings, or even boost your motivation for everything else?
It's worth thinking about. Maybe just observe your own patterns after hearing all this. And perhaps pick one, just one or two, of these practical tips we talk about.
Like setting a consistent bedtime.
Or making the room darker. Or putting the phone away just 30 minutes earlier. See what happens. Try it for a week and just notice if you feel any different.